Greetings fellow beardsmen and other interested parties. Today we're going to mix that oil. So welcome back to the year challenge where I grow my beard for an entire year. We're now, let's have a look, it's day 229, so we're about 8 months in. As you can see, the beard's getting quite long now, and I think the blow drying and straightening has made it straighter and longer, and the extra length is providing a bit of weight there, so it doesn't look quite so curly as before. Moustache is doing well, though the bits in the middle really could do with thickening up a bit. But overall, pretty pleased. Unfortunately, I missed my trim in London. I was going to go down again, but I had what I call a senior rail card moment. I left my rail card at home. In the UK, if you don't know about this, you can get a rail card and it reduces the amount you have to pay for train tickets. You get a discount, but you have to take it on the trip with you. If you don't have it, you have to buy another ticket at full price. So I just didn't go. Hopefully we'll be getting down to London again at the end of October for another trim. But today we're going to mix some beard oil. So here we are at the mixing desk, also known as my kitchen. What is the point of beard oil? Well, a lot of people ask that question. Isn't it just a lot of cheap products that somebody's trying to make a lot of money out of by selling to the gullible? And I suppose they've got a point. Does it do you any good? Well, there's supposed to be loads of benefits from all these oils. You know, they keep your skin nice, they're supposed to help your beard, protect it, keep the moisture in and all those good things. Do any of those things really work? Honestly, I couldn't tell you, certainly not at first hand. My philosophy in general with anything like this is if it's giving you fun, pleasure, you enjoy it, it makes you feel good or look good, and it's not costing you an arm and a leg or too much time and effort, then why not? If it doesn't do you any harm and it's good and fun and you like the smell and all that, why not? Why not? And that's a good reason, of course, for mixing your own beard oil, because it makes it a bit more fun. You're doing something for yourself, sense of achievement, and you're keeping the costs to an absolute minimum. You're not giving the money really to anybody else apart from the people who supply the raw ingredients. Now today I've got an assistant with me. It's Captain Jack. He's down there on the close-up camera. Morning, Jack. He is a bit taciturn, but believe me, he is at least competent. He's a good fellow. Okay, so first of all, then, of course, you need the equipment. There's not much to it. I've just got my little set of kit here, which I'm going to walk you through. First of all, you need a mixing bottle, something with a reasonably wide neck. Perhaps you could show that to them, Jack. That one's exactly 1 ounce or 30 milliliters, sorry. So that you can mix 1 bottle's worth in there, and it's got a nice wide mouth so you can pour stuff in without spilling it all, which is nice. So that's the first thing, and you can shake it all up in there as well, as we'll see in a minute. You need then something to put your finished product in, and I went on eBay and got a lot of these 1 ounce 30 milliliter dropper pipettes. So that's where it's all going to end up. Now you can see I've got my own label there, Brother Cadmon. Cadmon is a monk from Celtic times, 7th century, whom I very much admire. He wrote the first hymn ever to be written in the English language. Now again, a bit over the top, yeah, your own label. Well, it was fun, and it also means that you can give these things away as gifts. If you've got a bearded brother, bearded friend somewhere, you can make them a very cheap but very nice gift, and if you've got your own label on it, it makes it look authentic. It's also handy to know what's in a bottle. How many times have you had tapes, bottles, whatever, that have something in and you've no idea what it is because you haven't remembered to label it? So it's good to have some kind of label, even if it's fairly crude. I prefer to go the whole hog. That's just my character. Then come the ingredients. The first thing you're going to need in the ingredient list is some carrier oil. It's the main oil. In fact, you could actually have your mix with only that in. Anything else just adds all the nice fragrances, which I think are important, but they're not essential. This is the important oil. Now, there are all sorts of different oils. They have different capabilities, different good features. And if you get one of these commercial beard oils, they'll have a mixture of all of them with all the vitamin E's and jojoba oil and all that sort of stuff. I've just gone for almond oil. It's good stuff and it's about the cheapest you can buy. Again, I'm trying to keep the costs down. I'm trying to keep it simple, following my motto, if it's good and it's cheap, why not? So I've just got the almond oil. It's supposed to be good for your skin, good for your hair. It helps the skin with vitamin A. It can even do some restorative work apparently. Again, I have no idea whether any of that's true, but it seems like good stuff. Why not? So I use almond oil as the main ingredient, and then on top of that you have some what are called essential oils, where you just have 1 or 2 drops in a recipe of these that adds the fragrance, which makes it so much of a nice experience. You couldn't really do without these if feeling nice, feeling good is an important point in using the oils. So I've got some sweet orange oil, which I'm just going to pop there for Jack to show you. And I've also got peppermint. That's just one of the recipes that I have. So then let's get mixing. So we now have the mixing bottle ready to be added to. The first thing I'm going to do actually is add the essential oils. I'm just going to put those in first. So the recipe I have is for 2 drops of peppermint and 8 drops of sweet orange. So let's begin by adding the peppermint. These little bottles actually are quite an art. I just need 2 drops of this, and you have to be a bit patient. There you see it comes out with quite a rush from some of them. Others you have to wait ages before anything pops out. So there's my 2 drops of peppermint. Let's pop the peppermint over there. And now I'm going for the sweet orange oil. Might as well have a nice sniff before you pour it in. And that's going to be 8 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's my 8 drops of orange oil. I'm just going to put the lid on there again just to keep the fragrance in for a bit. Now that recipe was one that I got from online. I didn't make it up myself. I wanted a bit of guidance because I didn't really want to waste a lot of oil trying to come up with something. You need somewhere to start. But I didn't stay with their recipe. I ended up changing it, tweaking it, because I didn't like the balance. The original recipe had rather less orange and rather more peppermint, and I found it was just overwhelmingly peppermint. I couldn't detect any orange at all. So that's probably a way to go. You can try starting off with that one if you like, 2 drops of peppermint with 8 of orange, and see if you like it. One bit of advice I did find online was to put those essential oils in first, give them a bit of a shake, leave them overnight before you put in the carrier oil, before you've committed yourself, and then check in the morning whether you still like the fragrance and adjust it as necessary. And then add the carrier oil at the end, so that even if you end up throwing away this recipe, you've not really wasted anything. You've only just wasted a few drops of essential oil. I didn't find that worked that well for me. I'm finding that I'm not detecting the fragrance really until I actually put it on my beard. I tried that with my other recipe, which is cloves and orange and 1 or 2 other things like rosemary. It's a nice kind of earthy recipe, but the main fragrance is cloves, which is probably about my favourite scent. I mixed it all up, didn't put the carrier oil in. Following morning, had a sniff, and I thought, well, I can hardly smell the cloves at all. So I put another drop of cloves in, and this carried on. So I'd got 5 drops of cloves in, finally put the carrier oil in, and the thing just smells of cloves, nothing else. By the time you get it on your beard, that tells you what it's really like. And by the time I'd finished it, it was just cloves and nothing else. Totally cloves. I still love it because I love that scent, but it wasn't the recipe I was looking for. So I would take it with a pinch of salt that you can actually work on the odour by itself before adding the carrier and putting on your beard. It didn't work for me, but it's an idea. So what you do next, I'm happy with that recipe because I've used it before. I'm now going to add the carrier oil, which is my almond oil, which is nice and cheap. I'm just going to top that all the way up to the top of the bottle. Let's see if I can do that without spilling anything. There we go. Actually doesn't come out all that fast. With this particular bottle, you have to keep squeezing the bottle to make the liquid come out. I hope you can see that there on Jack's camera. I can see I've spilled a bit already. It's really a matter of patience. I also find with this bottle it fills up quicker than I'm thinking it does. It's a bit hard through the brown colour to see what the liquid level is. I can see it's just approaching the top now. We're nearly there and just coming up to the bottom of the thread. I'll probably leave it there. The next job is to give it a good shake. The recommendation is to shake for about a minute vigorously, so let's give that a go. Shake it up, baby, now. Twist and shout, twist and shout. Okay, so that's the minute gone by without the boring bits, which I've cut out in the middle there. So you now have your bottle of finished, rather bubbly looking liquid. I tend to then leave that overnight, and then you've got to decant that into your dropper bottle. Now, how do you do that? I did start out with one of these kind of funnel things. I don't know whether you can see that. I'm going to put that down near Jack and see if you can see. It's tiny and totally useless. I keep spilling things around the edge, and you need to let the air out, and it didn't work. You need some kind of pipette. Now you can use, I'm just going to get Jack to show you this, you can use the pipette that comes with the brown stopper bottles. You just squeeze the top. It's quite slow. It's what you'd use to dispense the liquid onto your hand before putting it in your beard. And you can use that to dispense the stuff in your mixing bottle all the way over to your final bottle. It takes an age, and you could probably do with a better pipette, a nice big one. I can hear my cat meowing over to the right there. Because I only mix these up like every 2 or 3 months, they last absolutely ages. I just bite the bullet and just transfer them one lot at a time. And it takes a bit of a while, but there you go. I have a bit of a history with pipettes. I had an accident at university using a pipette in the chemistry labs. One of them broke while I was pushing down on it in my hand, and then carried on onto the broken glass. Blood everywhere. This is in my 20s, 40 years ago. I've still got the scar. What I could do with this, and what I would recommend, is getting a nice big pipette so you can transfer a good lot at the same time, especially if you're making a lot of this stuff. So you'd leave that overnight, and then you can start using it, and that's the job. One thing that did come up with beard oil for me, one question I have though, is about how does that fit in with blow drying your beard? Because before I was blow drying my beard, I was letting it kind of mostly dry after a shower, and then putting the beard oil in when it was just slightly damp. So you don't want it to be completely dry, but then you don't want it to be sopping wet either when you put the beard oil in. Let's see, certainly not in my philosophy. So what I do now is I blow dry my beard mostly dry, then put the beard oil in, and then finish off blow drying. So that means that at the end there I can use a curly brush if it's a special occasion, or a straight brush, straight comb with big teeth if it's just an ordinary day. But it's somewhere in that spot where the hair is just damp but not completely dry, I think is then you need to put the beard oil in. That's how I fitted it in with blow drying. Now, if you've got a different plan, and if you've got any beard oil recipes or recommendations, by all means, stick them in the comments down below there. So guys, that's it for today. I hope that's useful. Hopefully see you again soon. I think we should leave the last word to Captain Jack.
Farewell, shipmates. See you on our next voyage.